The first week of the No Haaland project wasn't a big success, but just around the corner comes Game Week 11, which poses an even bigger threat to my overall rank. As you can see, guys, in Game Week 10 I had a pretty mediocre game week. I had a huge red arrow. I'm down to 2.7 million, but that is mostly due to the hits that I've taken. And the thing is that the players that I brought in just were outscored by the players that I got out. We were starting go, Flecken, a clean sheet. I wasn't expecting that for sure, but it was a good start of the Saturday matches, and I thought that I'm into a pretty good week and I will have an amazing score because all of the teams that I own players from were having good fixtures, and I thought that they were going to destroy the opposite teams, and almost all of them did, but none of my players contributed as expected. In defense, Trippier got 0 points. He got a yellow, he got 2 goals conceded, and after 6 weeks of consecutive returns, he blanked just in perfect time for my transfer in. It's always like that when you transfer in a player who has been holding for several weeks and you finally got him. He just blanks last year. It happened with Almiron, but I hope just Trippier is just a better player and he will get back into the usual returns. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I thought that him and Tsimikas were pretty similar, but I had the budget to move to the more expensive guy as he is on some of the free kicks and set pieces, and he is posing a bigger threat coming from midfield to shoot. But yeah, he got 5 points, Tsimikas got 6. Again, unlucky, at least in my opinion. Maybe he isn't as big as an FPL player as he was last year and the years before, but I still believe in the Liverpool fixture, so it's not an issue owning Trent. And Match Cash got a yellow card and got subbed off before Aston Villa conceded, so at least I got lucky on that front there. 5 points, so overall a pretty good performance from my defense. The guys that I transferred out were Udogi and Shar. I would have transferred Udogi out for Tsimikas for sure if I didn't embrace the No Haaland project, but as I had the money, I went for Trent, and Trippier was always coming in when I planned the No Haaland project because that's why I did it, just to include players who are more expensive in other positions. And it was just unlucky that Trippier did not get the points this week, but I believe that after the game, week 10, Newcastle will have to fight back and his points will start coming once again. So I'm pretty content with my defense. I have a Estupinian on the bench if something happens to one of those guys. So I'm pretty good overall in defense. In midfield, thank God for that mistake from Turner, because if Salah hadn't scored that goal, it would have been a pretty awful game week as well, because he was on a 3-pointer. Now he was on 8, yeah, and 16 as my captain. Pretty good overall. He was always going to be my captain when I bought him for this game week. So yeah, Salah, pretty content with what he returned. Bowen, I was pretty surprised that West Ham played so badly against Everton. I did think that they didn't register a shot on target for the whole game, which is awful, especially at home. But there are some game weeks like that, and I believe that Bowen can return as fast as possible from next week. Saka, an assist for one of the Nketiah's goals. How to say it, Nketiah stole the show, and Saka didn't do as much as I expect him to do, but I believe that for the upcoming fixtures he will fight back and he will get the points for sure, so I'm pretty delighted with him. Mitoma surprised me, but in a negative way, and Mbeumo here, who was the player in his place, scored lucky goal because Sanchez was out of goal, Maupai didn't take the shot, so yeah, Mbeumo scored a goal there, but the assist was pretty rigid. So yeah, Mitoma did not score as many points as I was expecting, but the easier fixtures are just around the corner, so I expect a lot of returns from Mitoma. And Madison, an assist for one of the goals, perfectly fine for me. 6-pointer from Madison. Yes, Son scored in that game as well, but yeah, Madison pretty alright. He's just chipping off the points, that's why I got him. And the attack was the biggest shit show that I had this game week. Haaland scored 2 goals and assisted against Manchester United, so that was basically one of the worst times to get off Haaland, but I embraced the project already, as I already mentioned, and I'm here to provide content. So yeah, I brought in Watkins, he blanked, Alvarez blanked as well. As I mentioned, I'm down to 2.7 million, but I'm not going to win FPO, let's be honest, and let's have some fun and showcase a different approach to the game and how you can play just for fun. It doesn't matter if I come into the top 100k or not. I am embracing the project as hard as possible. I am building the content for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. I know I'm struggling, and I know that it's not the best thing to watch someone who is struggling, but I believe that my transfer chips are pretty legit and my approach of the game is just a little bit different than the others, just because I want to attack the game differently. I don't want to play it as the others play it. If I kept Haaland and Mbumo, I would have been, I believe, 32 points above the points that I got here, so that would meant 84 points, and that's taking the hits into the consideration. So I got 52 points minus 8, so it's 44. If I add 32 points to that, is 76, so I would have gotten 76 points, which would have been amazing, because Udogi was always going for Tsimikas nonetheless, but Shar and Bumo and Watkins and Haaland, sorry, massively outscored the guys that I own, but I believe in future weeks that will get even, and the guys that I've transferred in will get me back more points than the guys that I've transferred out. So yeah, it's just a bad start for the No Haaland project, but it is what it is. I'm not too content like I was, not content, but too distraught, sorry, like the start when I was getting bad ranks at the game that I was playing, meta game to say. Here I'm playing just my own game. I'm buying players whoever I want and find pleasable as a good option. Trent is not popular right now. Watkins, Mitoma, and Trippier are, but I was just missing them from my side. And I believe that for the future, I will just focus on fixtures and on good form, and I will be prepared for everything that comes up ahead. The only thing that I won't be prepared is another Haaland Ho, but let's go and see how my team is looking like for Game Week 11, because I think I have pretty alright fixtures. I have some tricky ones and players facing each other, but I think that for a single game week, maybe there is a silver lining somewhere there, and we'll find some way to bring me points even without the guys returning a lot. We have to see, but now let's focus on Game Week 11's team. In goal, I'm remaining with Flecken. I don't see a reason to transfer him out this week. I believe that there are some good goalkeeper options, such as Johnston and Jose Sa, but I believe that believing in Flecken is the right approach to do so. Maybe I'll transfer him out in Game Week 12. I have to see. Maybe I'll do a transfer for Game Week 11 just to be prepared for the upcoming fixtures. As I mentioned, I have to monitor that and see it, but for now Flecken remains in goal. Maybe the only transfer that I'm going to make is Flecken out, but we have to see, because the fixture run isn't getting greater for Brentford right now, and maybe a goalkeeper's transfer is the thing that I require right now, but I will think about it. For now, he's staying into the side. Turner is on the bench against Villa. I don't think that I will be playing Turner anytime soon. Maybe he will get benched even after the mistake that he made against Liverpool, but we have to see. As mentioned, other great goalkeepers choices are Jose Sa and Sam Johnston from Crystal Palace. There is a risk always for Sam Johnston, because when Henderson returns from injury, he can get his starting spot. But for now, he looks like an okay option to start and go. But Jose Sa is ever present in that Wolves defense, and I believe that they will need to improve, because the oppositions get easier and easier, and I may go and get the Jose Sa as my keeper just to get the clean sheet points. He almost saved the penalty from Callum Wilson, so he is a perfectly fine penalty shot stopper, so I will take that into consideration. But for now, Flecken remains on the side. I know West Ham is a hard fixture, but it's at home for Brentford. Maybe they will deploy the 3-5-2 once again. If Ben Mee returns into the side, they will be as strong as possible in defense, and they may keep the clean sheet once again, so that transfer may not be correctly used on Flecken, but I'll think about it. If I don't find any reason to save my transfer for Game Week 12, I will just trigger the transfer, but for now I'm saving the transfer, have that in mind. Now let's jump into defense to see how it's looking. I believe that I have a pretty okay fixture run for my defenders. Going into defense, as you can see, I'm not making any changes here. I believe my defense is pretty solid. I believe that Trippier, Trent and Cash are three of the best defenders right now that you can own in the game, and for sure the two most expensive defenders here are bound to return a lot of points. They're expensive for a reason, and I believe that reason will be shown pretty soon. Trippier is at home against Arsenal. Arsenal are one of the best teams playing away from home, but Newcastle are one of the best teams playing at home. So maybe a thrashing for Arsenal, maybe a thrashing for Newcastle. We have to see, but I believe Trippier is going to be a very integral part in everything that Newcastle builds. He's on set pieces, he's taking some shots outside the target, he's providing a lot of chances for his forwards. I know there are a lot of issues with the forward line right now. Murphy is injured, Isaac is injured, I believe that Harvey Barnes is injured, so they're pretty limited there, but I believe that they have the enough quality for the team to prevail and to score a goal maybe against Arsenal. Maybe Trippier will score it, we have to see, but I'm delighted that I finally own Trippier. I know the fixture run is getting a little bit trickier for Newcastle going forward, but I believe that Trippier can navigate throughout that fixture run and can return pretty solid points. Trent Alexander-Arnold remains into the side. He is the most expensive defender, coming at the whopping price of 7.9, and an away fixture to Luton is one of the best possibilities for him to score a goal, maybe outside of the box or do something magical from set pieces. We have to see, but I expect a clean sheet at least, so I will be not regretting buying him, because that fixture run for him is pretty okay, and I believe that owning at least two players from Liverpool is integral, and I own the two most expensive ones and the most proven FPL players, so I believe that from now on the points will only fly from Trent, so I'm pretty delighted with him. And Matikesh has an away fixture against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest at home are a pretty solid team, but Aston Villa are just a better side. They're not as good away from home as they were at home, but in that case Matikesh can provide a goal, maybe return assist, or at least a clean sheet. That's what I'm hoping for. I believe that all of my defenders, apart from maybe Trippier, can get a pretty comfortable with a clean sheet, but we have to see. There are a lot of surprises each game week in the fantasy world and in the Prem world as well, so I'm not betting anything on that. Estupinian is bound to return as soon as possible as Game Week 11 emerges, and he's having an away fixture against Everton, so he is a pretty solid option to put into the starting 11, but just because he is coming back into the side doesn't mean that he will get a full 90 minutes, maybe a odd cameo from the bench. We have to monitor that, but he is there on the bench and he's waiting to be included in the side. Basically, he will be replacing Cash and I will be rotating the two of them, because Trippier and Trent are not going on the bench in any case. Even in the harder fixtures, I'm going to still play them. So yeah, Stupinian on the bench for now. When the fixture for Aston Villa comes, he will get ahead of Stupinian, of Match Cash, sorry. But for now, he's on the bench, and Riley is my fifth option. I don't need another headache in my squad, so it's going to remain a player that is not playing as any minutes basically, but yeah, he's staying on the bench, and I believe that the defense is looking pretty solid. If you agree, or if you think that I should be benching someone for Estupiñán, please write it down in the comment section. All of your comments are very much appreciated. Like the video if you enjoy it. And now let's jump into the midfielders section. In midfield, there are no particular changes here. The only issue here that I see is that I have a lot of away fixtures, but maybe that's good. Maybe those teams will play on the counter even more. I think that I'm expecting a lot of returns from Salah, let's be honest, against Luton, away from home even, but he's going to destroy them. Salah has not played against Luton yet, so Luton are not familiar with his approaches from the attack. Maybe they've seen a lot of videos and materials on how to defend against Salah, but it's one thing to see a video and a second thing to just do it face to face, and I believe that they are not prepared to defend against Salah because they're not used to do it. So I believe that Salah is going to get a lot of attacking returns here, and he is going to be my captain. As I have no Haaland, Salah is going to be the captain in most game weeks, but we are going to rotate it a little bit because I don't want to just focus on only one captain as I did when I owned Haaland. Next up is Bowen. He's having an away fixture against Brentford, and after the loss in the European League and after the loss against Everton, West Ham will need to fight back, and that's what I'm most afraid of owning Flecken. Maybe they will destroy them. Maybe there is a miss of a penalty for West Ham and Flecken saves it, and a goal or two for Bowen. That will be ideal, but at least points from one of them is going to be ideal for my side. I cannot get the points each and every game week from my players, but maybe I will transfer out the goalkeeper. We have to see, but for now, Bowen is going to play into the side. Away from home, he has been lethal. He has scored, I believe, in every fixture away from home, so that's huge. And I believe that he's scoring once again. I will have to see what I'm doing with Flecken, but as mentioned, he's almost for sure staying in my side. Next up is Saka. He's facing Trippier, so that's not an ideal situation once again, but as already mentioned, you cannot always avoid players playing against each other because they're good players overall, and you need to just own them, and when they start returning some points maybe against each other once again, you'll be delighted with that. But yes, Saka is remaining into the side. He's on pens. He's playing a very good football right now with the Jesus injury. There is even less competition for the starting places in Arsenal attack. So yeah, I believe Saka is going to be nailed, especially against Newcastle United. Mitoma, on away fixture against Everton. Everton won their last game and Brighton drew, but I believe that Brighton will need to get some points because they haven't won a game 4 weeks in a row, which is huge for them. They've beaten Ajax at European League, but that's nothing too big of a achievement basically. But yeah, Mitoma needs to step up his game and start delivering points, especially with the injury of Solly March, Adingra being a young guy, Fati not being integrated as fast as maybe he wants to be integrated. But yeah, Brighton need points and they need them quickly, so I believe Mitoma is a very good option here. And the last guy here is the ever-present Madison. I'm just not finding any reason to transfer him out at all. Even against stronger oppositions, he can do a lot of damage. I don't own Son, which may cause an issue in the future, but for now I'm pretty content with that. Maybe in the future I will replace Trent and Mitoma or Trent and Bowen and just bring in a cheap defender and Son. We have to see, but for now I'm staying away from him. Not because I don't like him as a player, but because there are some pretty not tough, but tougher fixture for sure, and I don't want to invest as much money in the Spurs team right now as before, because before I owned 2 players, now I own only one, and I'm not even thinking about owning a third one. I have to see, but for now, against Chelsea, Maddison is remaining into the side. The biggest miss here is Son, at least in my opinion, and maybe Diaby, but I have it covered for Diaby in the front line, and I believe I have it semi-covered for Son with Maddison. Maybe if Son starts blanking a little bit, it will be good for my team, because last week he scored, Haaland scored, and Mbeumo scored, so 3 guys that I do not own who are very highly owned right now did return points, so that was pretty hurting for my rank. But these things happen and I cannot do anything, so it's out of my control. Now with the no Haaland project, I'm here to take risk, maybe drop even more in rank, maybe gain a little bit, we have to see. But now let's finish up the squad with the captain and with the forward line. Here you can see why I consider this game week as the biggest test of the no Haaland project. Manchester City have Bournemouth at home, and that's going to be a pretty dangerous fixture not to own Haaland. I believe that I was safe against Manchester United, but he just destroyed them, and I believe that the same thing is going to happen against Bournemouth, but I cannot own Haaland right now. I'm fully integrated into the no Haaland project. I want to build the best content possible and at least be entertaining and different from the rest of the community, because everyone is sick of seeing the same team everywhere. I just want to be a little bit different. I can provide the most useful tips if you ask me for your squad specifically, but here you can just see the way I'm playing the game right now. I'm just having fun. I'm not stressing about it, because this year, after the rough start that I had, I decided just to have fun and relax a little bit. Maybe next year I will do another different and interesting project. Maybe I'll take the game seriously. We will have to decide in preseason, but for now I'm taking the game just by having a little bit of fun. It's not very integral how I finish, because it's not depending on how we finish. None of the content creators have won the game yet, so I don't believe that it's going to be soon when someone does. But yeah, I'll be pretty happy if one of my viewers win the league and the whole thing overall, because I know that I somehow helped you. So if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. If you want to see more interesting content and more relatable content, because I'm building some educational videos on who the best players for the upcoming week is, who to transfer out, talking about differential captains and everything, differential players. But on the other side, I'm trying to build a more interactive community as well, and build just a more interesting content that is not only pick that, just see the fun of the game, because that's why we are here for, to have some fun. But yeah, if you want to see it more, subscribe to the channel. Now let's discuss the forward line. I believe this week the forwards will need to return a lot of points after the blanks from last season. It hurt a lot having two of my forwards blank, and I didn't have anyone on the bench that returned solid points. Archer got only 1 point. He is not a very good option, I have to admit, but at least he's playing and starting for the Sheffield United side. They are just bad, so that's why I'm considering putting Josesa, because he's having an okay fixture run, but we'll talk about that maybe in another week's time. For now, let's focus on the Alvarez. I believe that it's time for him to return once again. After the Blanca home fixture against a newly promoted side, that's his favorite specialty, so I expect him to return even more points than Haaland. And Watkins, after a blank, after I bring him into the same as Trippier, I believe it's time for him to start scoring once again and solidify his place in the side. As you can see, I'm picking Salah as my captain. Nothing too surprising here. He is going to just annihilate Wootton, in my opinion. The captain choice will be split this week, and I hope Haaland blanks, because he's not my captain and he's away from my side. But overall, I don't take it into too much consideration what Haaland is going to do, because he's not already he's not in my squad. So yeah, I'm just focusing on my team. I hope for a good week, because I want to make the more interesting content and being okay at the game, at least okay, not taking so much damage each week. Maybe I'll drop in rank, maybe I'll rise in rank. We have to monitor, so stay tuned for the game week 12 updates when the game week 11 passes. This week there isn't going to be a deadline stream, because I will be away from the my keyboard and from the computer. I'll be even away from the city, so yeah, I'm going on a little holiday, so be prepared for several videos coming next week, but there will be no deadline stream. As usual, if you want to ask me anything, just write it in the comment section, like the video, promote it to your friends if they want to see a little bit different approach of the game, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!